I have Justin Frandson, your athleticism performance coach and the host of our 2018 Go Beyond Summit on EMF radiation and electricity pollution. So right now, I'm just going to share with you, what do we do about all these invisible stressors? I mean, what can we actually do about it? The FCC has our hands tied, unfortunately, in a lot of ways. They control the frequencies, they control the communications. They are adamant about having the fastest communication. Unfortunately, fiber optic is faster, has better quality, and has zero EMF effects. And so everything that we should see out there should be directly hardwired through fiber optic, because the quality's there, the speed's there, and the reliability is there. But we're just not in that space right now. So what do? Well, EMFrocks.com, you go and get harmonizers, you go to Stetzer Electric, pick up some of their meters to meter the frequencies and their filters to drop some of the dirty electricity down. But what do you do on a government level? Well, you can go to your city and complain all you want, but that's not going to do any good, because Section 47 of the US Code states that if anyone mentions radio frequencies to the city is supposed to close the door on it and say, hey, our hands are tied. It's this federal regulation on allowing these frequencies, so they can't do anything about it. Although I disagree in a lot of ways, because they don't really have to put 5G on light poles. They don't have to sell that real estate. That's a choice they're making. So I challenge every city councilman, every city, to not sell themselves and their city out for 5G or wireless communications that haven't been tested environmentally, through the bio as well for body, and then of course through Coastal Commission, because we're in Orange County, California, we're on the coast. So the Coastal Commission is probably one of the most stringent, yet they have no say either, because they're not a government agency as well. So they're federally regulated. So their hands are tied. But our city can make a choice and say, you know what, we're not okay putting this up on the pole. So no, you can't make us put it up on the pole. So then we won't have 5G on the pole. Their out is saying, oh, if it doesn't look good, or it blocks your view, then you can change it. But I'm just saying, hey, why even put it up there in the first place? We're good the way we are. Our streets are running fine. And quite honestly, I'd be happy to be the last to ever adopt all self-driving cars, because the technology is just not there yet, and the safety factor is not even close to being there yet. And until we start to put on these products to harmonize the vibration, then we might be closer, but the quality's not there, and then the reliability's not there. My neighbor's Tesla was on autopilot on the 405, self-drive mode. He smashed into another Tesla. Yes, he drove in, he crashed into another Tesla. Of course, Tesla calls him and says, hey, are you okay? And were you on self-drive mode? He said, yes. And they're like, you were supposed to be driving. Were you watching the road? He says, no. I was on self-drive mode. And they're like, well, you need to be watching the road even though it's on self-drive mode. And he agreed and took fault for the accident. And so Tesla got him to take fault for the accident. But you don't hear these stories. Their technology is not even close to being suitable. And when you're running into your own make a car, that's even scarier. I mean, normally that should be a little more bulletproof. So we're not even close to there. And this is 2018 we're talking about right now. So the next best thing you could do is go to your state governor and just bombard them with emails and phone calls and talk to all the representatives and let them know that man-made electricity causes a vibration. These haven't been tested. They're rolling out 5Gs and we're their guinea pigs. And this is a really daunting, scary thing. All to get 10x internet connection and have everything wireless. I don't want headsets wireless. I don't want my new iPhone not to have a headset plug-in where I could use earbuds. I mean, we're going the wrong way about this stuff. We don't have the strength in our bodies to have an antenna outside of each of our ears with waves in the billions of waves per second coming into our ears and both sides of our brain. And guys that don't have fully developed skulls, they're going to be most susceptible, and ladies. Okay, we just can't have antennas right here. We already have them throughout lots of parts of our bodies. Okay, women's ovaries absorb 10 times the amount of radiation that any other part of the body absorbs. We already know this. So why in the world would we actually put antennas and have billions of waves in our pocket, then a smartphone on our wrist with even more billions of waves, and that with cellular and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and GPS on both devices, and then put two antennas right outside your brain and say, hey, just shoot radiation directly to my brain. I just don't get it. Why is Apple and why are technology companies making these devices without having harmonizers in and without having some layer of protection? We don't have that. So I also want to challenge manufacturers to start making better quality products with superior engineering. Like Dave Stetzer said, this is an engineering challenge. We can eliminate a majority of the sparking and the chaos by proper engineering. So a lot of our companies, the companies are just getting lazy, and that's unacceptable for our own health. So when someone's sick, they're not going to get better when they're exposed to all this stuff. We need to have boundaries within our company, within our cell companies, and then also on the cell service side. Like when we're sleeping, those signals should just drop like literally down to virtually almost nothing. There's no reason to have massive 5G going all night long at the signal level that they want during peak hours. It's kind of like California and our water usage. You can up it a little when it's hot in the summer and then taper it down in the winter. Let's start to rev a little bit like that. Let's start to learn about putting buffers on. EMF solutions for the products, okay? EMF Rock sells those solutions, okay, with harmonizers in them. So the vibration that's caused by man-made EMF is harmonized. Those voltage-gated calcium channels don't open up. That door doesn't open. Positive calcium won't go into that cell and give us cell and cause free radical damage and DNA damage. So we have to look at it in a whole different way. And then we can call the FCC, bombard them, but they're not a health agency. They have zero say in our health. They don't really want to know about our health. All they want to make sure is the signal works. That's all they care about. And that's unfortunate, because if that signal works and no one's there to appreciate it, it's going to be a big, big challenge for them. So I would rather scale back now instead of having massive damages and then having to way scale back, multiple times in decades to come after lives and generations have been shattered. I mean, my coworker in my office, her friend had 3 successful pregnancies, and the 4th one, midterm pregnancy, they go and put solar panels on the roof, and the baby dies in the womb within a week's time of those solar panels being put on the roof. To me, there's no scratching your head on those stories. It's directly correlated to the baby not having the fetus not having any defense mechanisms. And then you put in this tremendous battery over its head, that's massive EMF, then that causes massive daunting sparking. It's like probably 20 to 40 times the allowable amount of dirty electricity that is considered a safe level. I mean, zero safe level, but it's about 40 times greater when you put in solar panels. And California just mandated them in 2 years over every house. So we're gonna have to do, it should be great for EMFrocks.com because they're gonna really clear a lot of people and save a lot of people's lives. But why do we need to do that? It's just another government restriction, another mandate. It's red tape, it's more control. It's aesthetically just not aesthetically pleasing at all. It has zero design, zero character. And so covering all the gamuts on this stuff. So talk to your city and just say, hey, no, just no, just do not use our telephone poles as real estate, because that's what they want to do. And if this current administration deregulates it, which they're getting massive lobbying going on in the telecommunication and in the auto industry, all these guys want to deregulate it so that they can make driverless cars. And that is not healthy for us. I mean, all the cars, there's going to be about 40 million cars that have routers in them in 4 years, within 4 years. So you guys, those are billions of waves per second. Plus it's cross-wired. Plus if you have an electric car, you have a battery underneath you. Those cars meter off the charts. Just daunting scary. So we need to step back, slow this process down, and really understand what we're getting into. We have to understand that this is new. We never had this stuff 25 years ago. This is all new. And if you have a young child, a young daughter, they are going to be more susceptible. If you're wanting to get pregnant, it's going to cut down your spouse or the male sperm count tremendously. It's going to deform potentially fetus. It's just giving the ovaries. So that's going to be a challenge. Experts say 3 generations out are going to have massive effects. Only 6 generations out, it's irreversible. So my child's child should see damages as we're going in this whole space. And then, her child's child, she'll be grandma. That will be irreversible. Now that's a daunting thought. That's what experts are saying. And they did tests on lifespans of course, animals that don't live as long as humans, but that's what the DNA shows. These are experts doing it. So we really need to take a deeper look, dive into the subject, call our governor, email our governor, call our city, bombard our city. Just because you don't get as much cell service as you want, be grateful for that. Okay, we're quick enough as we are, and it just to exponentially add it to 10x something like that is daunting. If you 10x any business like that overnight, that's a massive shift. Most companies will never be able to absorb that. How does our government, how does the regulators expect a human body to manage that when their company couldn't even 10x growth, period? There's no way. So we need to really step back and look at these electricities, these invisible pollutants, and say, slow down, everybody. Let's start to slow this whole process down, hardwire through fiber optic when we can, find options to harmonize vibrations, not put them in school districts at all, start to create regulations so there are none in schools. Every school should be hardwired, period. That means elementary, junior high, high school, and universities. And UCI, shame on you, you have cell towers right above one of the center buildings on your university. These kids, these students, their skulls don't develop till they're 24. So they're absorbing radiation exponentially. and you're the beacon for it just for some extra little capital. There's no other reason than capital. Are you in the business of cell towers, or are you in the business of enrolling students and student athletes? You need to pick a lane. Every university needs to pick a lane, because my child is definitely not going to go to a university or a school with cell towers all up in it, because some technology company said, hey, put these on and we'll pay you, $20,000 per month to have these for the next 40 years. These are 40-year contracts they're doing. I've talked to developers. They are 40-year contracts. So what's the end game? I mean, if we're 10xing our internet connection in the first 25 years, of having internet speed, and it's gotten exponentially quicker each year, and now we're going, okay, we have it, we can talk to any country we want. In the next 40 years, I mean, what is it going to look like? What's the end game? I think everyone needs to understand that these are weapons in our military. Our military uses the same radio frequencies and microwave frequencies as weapons. They turn up the volume to stronger, faster millimeter waves with more frequencies, like a 5G has 3 within it, and it is used as weaponry. So skin rashes, massive headaches, bloody noses, those are classic symptoms, okay? You're not gonna heal, you're gonna have oxidative stress, your fertility is gonna go down, all these, we already know all the list. I mean, you can list any health challenges and it's directly related to electricity, dirty electricity, or radio frequency. So they're all one and the same, where they cause a vibration that opens up our voltage gated calcium channels. So we need to really figure out what to do. So you need to start making calls. You need to really let these governmental agencies figure it out, that there's a massive gap between the waves per second that we have when we're sleeping, that the earth pulses at during different seasons. I mean, we sleep at 8 to 12 to 13 waves per second. And these signals are billions and soon to be trillions of waves per second. So they need to understand that different ages, not everyone is the same and can process that equally. Some people have different DNA, so they're more susceptible to it. They're either younger, they're older, they want to get pregnant, they're pregnant with a fetus. Not everyone is the same and can tolerate that high level amount all the time, 24/7, for the rest of their life. Because if they do, their life's going to be cut short. I've seen multiple friends in my lifetime that have had their lives cut short. Most recently, it was just a doctor of chiropractic, and it's so daunting and scary to see, like the most aware, knowledgeable, fit Ironman athlete had solar panels on his roof, wanting to do good, and he got hit. And so this has got to change. We have to have more awareness. So please, everybody, start to reach out to these agencies and just let them know that, hey, you want to hardwire when you can. We're not okay with self-driving. This stuff hasn't been proven. Reach out to your cities. Let them know that light poles are not real estate. They're light poles. Real estate is a corner where you have commerce. A light pole is a light pole. Who wants antennas everywhere? It's going to be the ugliest city you ever seen. I want character. I want beauty. Okay, that's why I live where I live. I love the culture that we have, and it'll completely change when we start having just daunting, massive towers. A friend that's a big, outspoken guy. His name's Freedom. He's in Las Vegas, and he's all cleared out. He has crystals all over him, EMF products. Just basically, from EMF rocks, solutions that clear him. But he'll look over and he'll see just people just yelling and screaming and honking. It's just madness. And then he'll look up and see cell towers and 5Gs and more cell towers. And he's going, what in the world? Like, these people are just attacking each other. The behavioral challenges are massive, massive. And he's in the trenches in a really big, city. That's the city of lights. And now, these cities are just absolutely toxic. Bakersfield's the same way. It's gone from oil to now to obviously the pesticide, herbicides, or Roundup, the glyphosate that everyone sprays on the crops. And then now it's all cell towers and microwave towers all over the place. There's super, super toxic environments and areas that, it just is, you're going to kill commerce. You're going to kill the entire population. Those places will die because of wireless communication. Until we get a hold on it and really understand what we're getting ourselves into, set limits, durations, have free zones where there's countries that have Wi-Fi free zones. So there's nothing within miles and miles of these signals, because that's how far they travel. So we need to start to have those and have congregations with those. Let's get aware, talk to people around you, share this information with people you know, and help them out a lot, because this has been an unbelievable journey for me. I'm so blessed to be able to share this information with you. And the one thing I'm not is a fear factor guy. I'm not scared of anything. Like, you give me the biggest guy in front of me, I'm not afraid. And this stuff, quite honestly, is pretty daunting as far as our future population is concerned. It has me scratching my head, but I know there is hope. Dr. Zach Bush gave us a ton of hope, and thank you for that. I wasn't as encouraging at that time, but I do know that our being, our energy frequency of our body is so much more powerful and resilient than anything that any microwave could ever put out at the end of the day. So we need to really tap back into that, do our qigong, and really boost up our energy and our vitality, because that's what's going to keep us strong. Go to emfrocks.com, get those harmonizers, put those products on your body, put them on your smart meters, in your car, in your home, where you travel. Harmonize your life and your surroundings. So it's one layer of protection, you guys. It is absolutely one layer of protection that will save years of health and challenges for you. There's so much more, but let's leave it at that. Reach out to everybody. Let them know that what you've learned, that Dr. Martin Pall, his studies show that the voltage-gated calcium channels open up because of this vibration, and we can clear it through crystals. And you're going to talk to everyone you know and let them know that, especially educators, especially our government, especially local, state, and federal agencies, and say, hey guys, this isn't okay. We're not okay with this. And we need to slow this down. Thanks for going beyond with us.